Invincible season 3, episode 6. I really, really enjoyed it. I think that is the perfect example of villainy and evil done well. From front to back, you've got a complex character who has been through something quite traumatic that has changed his mental structure, that has sent him from being somebody who is a good person into somebody who's a bad person. Now, they showed enough of us to indicate that he was a good person. It's hard to say because I don't know the guy, right? But from what you've seen, you can indicate he was a good person. He went through something incredibly traumatic. He lost loved ones, people that meant the most to him, and it sent him a bit doolally. And that can happen. And that can happen. And I think when a show is able to do evil and villainy right, it's not just making somebody randomly evil, which actually is funny because that's actually the criticism of the Joker, right? Is that he doesn't have that complexity, but he's my favorite villain. Anyway, that's another story. I'm not a storyteller. I think Powerplex was just the perfect villain. I think the way they told his story was really good, and it felt like a Powerplex episode, but really done in the right way. One of the things I really liked about the episode was a conversation between Mark and Oliver, where they sort of summarized the themes of the episode. They sort of foreshadowed the theme of the episode. And they were talking about Nolan, they were talking about Omni-Man, and they were talking about, can he be forgiven? Is his redemption arc enough? And I think that was a good conversation, and it was powerful, and it makes you think about the duality of man and how you can go from a bad person to a good person and a good person to a bad person. And it further raises the question of, does one erase the other? And I think those are the themes that I want to see in a well-written show. I think the fact that the problem wasn't solved through violence, I thought that was a good touch. Every time they fought him, the only person that really used violence was Shapesmith. Didn't work. But violence isn't always the solution to these problems. And I think that was a good touch as well. Eve tried the violence thing. She said, the violence thing ain't working. I'm going to try something else. And Mark turned up and said, you know what, violence just isn't working here. And I think that's a good message. It's not just punch your way out of everything like they do in Dragon Ball Z. So I thought that was cool, especially where Mark is losing so many fights. Whereas this one, he actually couldn't fight back. It made less sense, but he still won, and he won in a way that made sense for the storyline. So that was nice. I still find some of the drama a little bit on the boring side, I'll be honest. And I do like drama, but I do find some of the interactions between Mark and the family and stuff like that, it drags a little bit. It gets a little bit on the slower side. For me, personally, some people love it. Like, I liked the storyline that happens between Robot and the Hulk girl. I can't even remember their names now. I liked that storyline. I liked the storyline between Ray and Rex. I thought that was phenomenal. So I do like some of it. I just think some of it doesn't work as well. I don't think the Mark family dynamic has been super duper interesting. I think the Oliver storyline is interesting, but the full family dynamic drags for me a little bit. I start switching off. But overall, powerful episode, good episode. I didn't really enjoy the Ray leaving Rex. Well, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a well-told story, but I'm worried because the things Ray was saying to Rex and Rex turning around and be like, no, I'm going to stay. It gives me like Vic and the Penguin vibes. If you guys have seen the Penguin, where it's like you were given a chance to leave and you were told, if you don't leave, something bad's going to happen. And I feel like that was the foreshadowing, but we'll see, innit? But you don't want one of your characters as having a great redemption arc, which is the start of a bad storyline, really, having a great redemption arc to then be told, if you don't leave now, something bad's going to happen. So that was a little bit ominous, but good episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed the way the villain was written. I enjoyed Powerplex. I enjoyed the little speech that Invincible tried to give at the end, and Powerplex was like, brother, like I'm still mad at you, bro. There's nothing you can say. It was deep. It was dark. There were parts of it, obviously, the finale, the final fight, that was like, oh, and there were things that happened that were just dark. And Invincible was able to see the reality of the fight with his dad. It was just really well done. Somebody commented on my last review, my review of episode 5, and said, oh, it's world building. Well, this episode was also world building. Bear in mind, I thought episode 5 was average. Episode 6, I thought was really good. And I think just because it's world building, that doesn't mean it's good. And I think you've got perfect example there. Episode 5 was world building done bad. Episode 6 was world building done well. That's it. So that's my thoughts on Invincible season 3, episode 6. There's probably more things that I've forgotten because I kind of don't. It's Monster Girl is her name, innit? Monster Girl. I'm going mad. I don't give myself enough preparation probably for these videos, but those are my thoughts in the episode. I liked the ending. I'm terrified to see all of those marks turn up, but we'll see what happens. If you enjoy my reviews, do to reviews, give me a follow. Also comment, like, do the nice things for me, bro. Have a good day. Peace.